this lesson for geography, we will look at the rock cycle, and more in particularly, we are going to look at the types of rocks. Again, I would encourage you to pause your video and make your necessary notes, as this is very important. So we begin with the three types of rocks. There are three different types of rocks, and they are igneous rock, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. And from the three types of rocks, we can produce the rock cycle. Igneous rock are formed by magma and lava as it cools. Remember, magma is what is found at the core of the earth, and that is like liquid fire. And when it cools, it turns to sedimentary and rocks, which is the igneous rocks that we have, right? So if you go at the edge or the foothills of a volcano, you will find igneous rock, which was once magma that went through the vent of a volcano and comes out as lava, which flows and solidifies and cools as igneous rocks. Rocks that comes from lava cools very fast and can either be very light and airy, or the rocks can be glassy. Rocks that come from magma are formed under the ground. They are oftentimes very hard and have more than one color. So always remember, igneous rock is that rock that is formed by magma and lava as it cools. Now we move on to sedimentary rock. And sedimentary rock is made when sediments such as sand and gravel and dirt are pressed together over time and becomes a rock. Sedimentary rock is formed in layers. So the igneous rocks can press together and form a sedimentary rock, and you'll see how when we do the rock cycle. So here we have a diagram showing the build up of sedimentary rock, right? So we have a whole cliff, you can see on the diagram. At the very bottom of the diagram, we have granite. On top of granite, the sandstone built and stuck to it, and then shale, another type of rock, stuck to the sandstone, and at the very top we had limestone, and all compressing to form one sedimentary rock. Okay, so they were once igneous, but they come together and form a sedimentary rock. So a sedimentary rock, as they said, is made between the composition of sediments such as sand and gravel and dirt that press together over time, and this is known as sedimentary. Metamorphic rock, now on the other hand, is not any specific type of rock by itself. Metamorphic rocks are made from other rocks due to different processes. So heat and pressure can help change an igneous or sedimentary rock into a new kind of rock. But we don't keep it as sedimentary or igneous rock because it changed maybe its composition and feature. We now call it a metamorphic rock. And when we think about metamorphic, it comes from the word metamorphosis, which means changes. So think about how a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. This is the metamorphical stage of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. It's the same way a rock can change with heat and pressure and becomes metamorphic. Now we move on to the rock cycle. And the rock cycle is a group of changes, or the rock cycle highlights the changes that occur among rocks. Igneous rocks can change into sedimentary rock or metamorphic rock. Sedimentary rocks can change into metamorphic rock or into igneous rock. Metamorphic rock can change into igneous or sedimentary rock. Igneous rock forms when magma cools and makes crystals. Magma is hot crystal made of melted minerals, and this mineral can form crystal when they are cool. Igneous rocks can form underground where the magma cools slowly, or igneous rocks can form above the ground where the magma cools rapidly, as in the case of a volcanic eruption. Here we have the rock cycle drawn for you, right? So we can see the different procedures we talked about just now. If you look on your screen, we have the metamorphic rock. Metamorphic rock can melt and form magma. Okay, and the melting of this rock forming magma can cool and be formed an igneous rock, which can also remelt and become magma. Igneous rock now, under heat and pressure, can turn to a metamorphic rock. and through weathering and erosion can become sediments, which is fine particles of sand and gravel. Through the processes of compacting and cementing, these sediments formed from the weathering and erosion or the breaking up of the igneous rock can form sedimentary rocks, and under heat and pressure it can be converted to a metamorphic rock. The sedimentary rock under weathering and erosion or breaking up, it can be broken back to sediments, okay, and then it can go up again. And metamorphic rock, through weathering and erosion, which is through the external forces of wind, sun, snow, can cause rocks to break up, because rocks do expand and contract with heat and cold, and this constant contracting and freezing and thawing can cause rocks to break up. And this is a form of weathering and erosion which breaks rocks down. So metamorphic rocks can also break down through the processes of weathering to form sediments. Okay? I would want to clear this up for you when we have our live sessions, so don't be too panicked. Just make sure and take the notes and we will go it over. We move on now to the parts of rocks. Rocks have many different parts. Rocks can be sorted into groups by looking at their parts. Some rock parts are crystals or grains. We talk about crystals. Crystals are different atoms that are formed in a pattern. They can be big or small or flat or thin. The pictures below in the screen are what crystals look like. Crystals don't usually look like a regular rock. They look more jewel-like in quality. And the next type of rock is grains, and grains look more like what we see every day in our backyard, at the beach, and so forth. Grains are smaller pieces of rock or sediments. Grain size is something that is used a lot to help decide the rock type. So the grains could be fine as the one shown with sand. It can be a mixture of sand and stone. It can be little fine gravels, and it could be big boulders. But the fact that they were once sediment and made from sediment, they are considered a grain type rock. So this was my lesson today on rocks, the rock cycle, types of rocks, and parts of rocks. So I hope you pause the video and make the necessary notes and answer the question that will follow. So thank you for watching this video tutorial.